Martin Pearson out there as well on bike number 42. So it looks like we're going to have a full grid here.
Yeah, indeed it is. It's good to see. But the green flag is up at the back there, the red flag's up. They're going to be getting ready to go. So you get the whole shot. Mark Hay had a good start, couple of good starts yesterday. Not quite as good today, the front wheels lifted, so is Kev's, but it looks like Mark is going to lead into turn 1, Keith. You're going to see them coming around you very shortly. So yeah, that's definitely Mark, followed by Kev, and it looked like David Ball in 3rd place.
Certainly was there. I was looking further down the order there. The middle of row number 6, David Abraham not making the start of this race, but you're absolutely right there. Not the best of starts there for Wooly, but Mark Haig, number 110, is the man who takes the charge as they come towards you, Keith.
He might not have made the best of starts, but he certainly made the best of the first couple of corners, because it is indeed Kev Woolley who leads the way from Mark Haig. I think that might be Alan Cooper there in 3rd place. David Ball is certainly looking to be challenging as well as they disappear out of my sight up towards the top, and they start working their way around Crest Curve for the first of 8 times in this particular race. And Woolley is... Now, is that Woolley out in front? I'm sure that is, yeah. But Revan Kevin, down the hill he comes. He's already got a gap, but it's got to be a second at least. So he really does know how to pour it on. That is Hay in 2nd. I can pick up his bike, very distinctive there. And 3rd place, I think that's David Ball, and that's going to be Calvin Hogan there on the kind of blacker machine. So might be Alan Cooper behind him as they work their way out of the chicane towards the bottom of the mountain. But Kevin Woolley, there is absolutely no stopping that man this weekend, is there?
No, he's got an impressive lead as he goes into the bottom of the mountain and back over the top once more. So I'll turn my attention to the entrance of Hall Bend, and there goes the 51 of Kev Woolley. Mark Hagan, David Ball, that is your order in 2nd and 3rd place. Looks like a few challenges further down the order as they make their way into Hall Bend there. There goes Mungo as well, but looking up towards Barn now, waiting for number 51 Kev Woolley, race winner on both occasions yesterday, and of course the King of the Mountain this year once again. He's out of Barn and coming across the line now. Mark Haig, David Ball up next, and it looks like number 30 Alan Cooper's trying to find a way through on the 74 of Paul Whitby. He's in the slipstream, but I don't think he's close enough to make a challenge in towards Coppage this time as they start lap number 2 of 8. But Woolley has a 2.4 second advantage over Mark Haig. Then it's David Ball. Paul Whitby showing as making up 3 positions. The biggest loser on that one there, 3rd in the Clubman's. 11th on the road is the number 6 of Alan Bushell. And further down the order as well, Darren Cooper makes up 5 positions. So Darren Cooper from the back of the grid, he's picking them off one by one.
Yeah, Neil, as long as he stays comfortable on the bike, you will see him progressively this field, I'm sure of that. Obviously, he is going to be a little bit rusty, not been out at all this year, so this is his first outing.
Okay, guys, we've got one down here coming out of Charlie's 2, because I can see the cream flag flashing up the hill. I think that's our renter racer, unfortunately hitting the ground once again, and I don't think that's its first visit to the scenery this weekend, is it, Pete?
No, it's not. He's not managed to stay on it. His favourite corner has been Mansfield twice.
Oh, well, at least he didn't crash at Mansfield, so yeah, I guess that's a good thing. Sorry about that, Len. I think somebody owes you a packet of fiberglass, basically, because it's pushed away safely. The marshals there very quickly getting out of the way won't have an effect. I'll tell you who else is looking very challenging. It looked like Cooper was going to have a good go at Whitby. I got Whitby mixed up with Hogan, I think, the previous lap, just both quite dark bikes. But yeah, that 74 machine was definitely being used as a slipstreaming unit for Mr. Cooper. I don't know if he's found his way through, because I turned my head to have a quick look and see who's disappeared off the scenery there. But I'm pretty sure it's the number 100 yellow machine that's gone walkabouts. You'll get confirmation of that. I guess it hasn't tripped the timing beam over there, has it, Bradley?
You're absolutely right. The other rider who hasn't gone through into the 2nd sector seems to be the 162 of Darren Cooper. So I'm looking around the circuit, can't see any immediate signs of Darren
nothing
Cooper.
In my sight, mate.
So Darren Cooper is showing he's not coming into the 2nd sector. So across the line this time around, we can see Woolley has a 2.9 second advantage. Mark Hay, David Ball, and then Paul Whitby, Alan Cooper, Calvin Hogan, and Tom Ridley. Andy Bursko, the top 8 is as it was a lap ago, but Andy Wales makes up 4 positions on that lap. So Andy Wales is lapping about 1.6 seconds quicker than Andy Bursko in front of him as well, but the 85 of Andy Wales is definitely one to watch as he comes past you, Keith.
Well, Andy Wales is another one who joined the DNF club yesterday. I think Andy lobbed it on the first lap yesterday as well. I think he might have mixed it up with David Abraham. They both went out on the first lap. A bit of chatter on the radio there, can't quite pick up what's happening, but that might be another incident. But certainly can't see anything obvious around the circuit. What I can see is that Ball has found his way past on Haig. So this is good news for David Ball, because he's leading the championship at the moment. and obviously trying to get a few more points over Alan Cooper wherever he can. David has been remarkably reliable. Unfortunately, Alan has chucked it at the scenery a couple of times, so hasn't been as consistent as he would like. But he's still very much in with the threat of this championship, because after this one we've still got another 3 rounds to go, so this is a long way from being over. Some good midfield battles there as well, just going down into Mansfield. Couldn't quite pick up those riders. Let you tell me who they are as they trip the timing beam over there at the halfway point through the chicane, but looks like 3 or 4 riders involved in their own good little battle for some serious stakes, but nobody is able to challenge Mr. Woolley at all. Over the line he comes. He's definitely giving us a masterclass on how to power a TZR around the Cadwell Park circuit, isn't he, Bradley?
Yeah, we'll certainly keep an eye on it. He's just put in the fastest lap of the race with a 1 minute 43.466, and as you said there, Ball now through on Haig and has opened up his advantage now to 1.2 seconds already. So David Ball is trying to close down the gap between himself and Kev Woolley. It's 3.1 between himself and your race leader Kev Woolley, and they're lapping within a tenth of a second of each other. But Fish, I must say that I'm quite impressed as well with the number 166 of Tom Ridley. He had 2 second positions in class, and of course came into the paddock on the Renter Racer as well, didn't he?
Yeah. He was first time on the Renter Racer here last year. So he went and bought Paul Tolan's bike, I believe, at the last round of Brands Hatch one day, and then he's been doing full season this year. Yeah, I mean, it happens. Sometimes you get a rookie, they come in and they're just so good from the off, and Tom's saying one of those riders.
Certainly is. He's right there, second in the Clubman, 7th overall at the moment. Then it's Andy Bursko, Richard Hayward, Damien Lee. So Hayward and Lee found a way through on Andy Wales on that lap. So Andy Wales, who made up 4th and has now dropped 2, he's in 11th on the circuit, 9th position in class. And it's Ian Davies who currently rounds out the podium positions in the Clubmans, but is only half a second up the road from the number 6 of Alan Bushell as well. So we may have a fight, Keith, for the final podium position in the Clubmans as they make their way up towards Park Corner and round on towards Chris Curve. But race leaders already over the mountain into Hall Bends, and this time around the gap at the front is closed down by 0.2 of a second within that first sector. Kev Woolley and David Ball, the gap was 3.1 just a lap ago, but we'll keep an eye on them now as they come out of barn. And David Ball, number 8, he's really pushing on now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, yeah. I mean, as you said, he's both in the 43s. In fact, I think David Ball is just at the fastest lap at 43.2. So he's not dropping, Kevin isn't dropping David. Maybe he's slowed down him a little bit. So, yeah, that's really good going from David today. Really good ride.
I think Kevin's just pacing himself, to be perfectly honest. You only need to win at the slowest possible speed, and he had a long look under his armpit. I don't think he's checking to make sure he's refreshing them up this morning. Just checking exactly where his opposition is. He's had a look over his shoulder, and he kind of knows that he's got a very handy lead there. So I think Kevin's judging it. I think he'll be very happy if he doesn't win by 8.5 seconds, 8.532 seconds again. Because that gap is remaining pretty constant. Be interested to see if David can close it, because David will be pushing on. But I think in real terms, David knows he doesn't have to beat Kevin to maintain his lead in the championship, because Kevin's in real terms not in this championship because he hasn't appeared very much indeed. Oh, there's a challenge there. Was that Hogan going past someone? Who's Mr. Hogan battling with?
He's right there with Alan Cooper.
Oh, well, Alan Cooper's been relegated, so that's all good news for David Ball, because that's another couple of points that Calvin's taken away. And again, Calvin's not really in the championship either. He's another occasional guest rider who comes out to play, and so he's actually just taking points away. So he's actually helping Mr. Ball's championship chances, isn't he?
No, you're absolutely right there. I'm just having a look at the sector times as well on this 5th lap, Keith. When they come across the line now, it'll be 3 laps to go, and Kev Woolley went about 0.7 up and quicker than David Ball in the first sector as well. So David Ball did have the fastest lap, but Kev Woolley now smashes it with a 1 minute 42.837. But purple in the first sector on this lap is Paul Whitby, bike number 74, the man in 4th position. He's just put in a personal best of a 44.318, but he's gone purple in sector number 1. So Paul Whitby's got a 0.9 of a second advantage now over Calvin Hogan, who has a 0.3 of a second gap over Alan Cooper as they go in towards Charlie's 1 over the top into Charlie's 2 now, and you'll see him back into your side.
Yeah, it's starting to spread out here, and I mean, no disrespect to Mr. Whitby, but a purple, you need to be doing that every single lap, Paul, and you'd be challenging Mr. Woolley quite happily. Yeah, he'll be well pleased if he can see that on the timing sheets when he finishes the race. How far into the race are we, mate?
5 laps down, 3 to go.
3 to go, okay, well, make that 2.5 as Mr. Woolley comes through the gooseneck. Nice, smooth, very relaxed. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be challenged at all. Haig, I think, is pushing on a little bit, trying to catch back up to Paul. I don't think he's going to manage that. I do wonder how much closer Whitby can get. He looks as though to be a man on a bit of a charge there. But again, I think we're running out of laps, and I think already the gap's going to probably remain pretty static as they are at this stage, I think.
I'll tell you what, Paul Whitby in the first sector, he's done a 59.9, so he's the only rider to go underneath a minute in that first sector, and he's on purple again. So Paul Whitby, well, it's 3.4 seconds between himself and Mark Haig, but Mark Haig is only 1.3 behind David Bull, so it's looking like it may close up in the following 2 and a bit laps. So when they do come across the line, we'll be starting the penultimate lap as Adam Collins, bike number 77, who rounds out the field at the moment, comes across the line now. To start his Cadwell now starting at lap 7, the penultimate lap. Then there's David Bull and Mark Haig. The gap was 1.3, and this time around it's 1.5, so not too much in it there. As Paul Whitby and Calvin Hogan come across the line now. Calvin last time around, he went 0.6 of a second quicker, so Calvin Hogan there, what do you reckon, Fish, with 2 laps to go? Calvin Hogan and Paul Whitby, they're looking like they're going to fight for that final rostrum position.
Yeah, I mean, knowing that Paul Whitby's on an Andy Ball TT Engineering engine, and Calvin has said that he does feel that he's lacking a bit of power, so sure Calvin is pushing on a lot to keep in touch with Paul Whitby on that bike. But yeah, all he needs is a slight mistake from Whitby and Hogan will be all over him.
That's all it takes, isn't it, as they go down the back straight and up towards Park Corner. But I can see the number 51 of Kev Woolley. He's through on Adam Collins then to unfortunately put him a lap down, but in towards the gooseneck already, and he has a 4.5 second advantage, Keith.
Yeah, it's quite remarkable. I'll tell you the other thing that might make a little bit of a difference is our back marker. I can see most of our competitors getting past. I think Mark Haig might have just lost a little bit of time as he tries to close David Bull. And I know David was looking over his shoulder, making sure he had a reasonable gap. But here comes that battle behind the back marker. I think they're going to catch the back marker at the bottom of the mountain there. So that could actually make a difference. Is that a challenge there from Hogan up the inside? Does that come off?
Oh, he just about makes it work there, doesn't he? And he goes around the outside on the flip over to the right hand side as well on the tail ender.
Yeah, he ran on the inside of Whitby, and then on the tail end he just picked on the other side. He said just going up the mountain. Just put him maybe in between him and Paul. Paul might have got past him just going into Hull's Bend.
Paul Whitby was purple in that first sector yet again, but Alan Cooper as well. In fact, Calvin Hogan, my apologies there, at 59 as well. But starting the final lap then, less than 2.5 miles to go for Kev Woolley, and he has a 5.2 second advantage now, opens it up by a further 0.7 of a second. There goes Calvin Hogan and Paul Whitby. So in the Woodlands, he has opened up his advantage now to 1.3 seconds over Paul Whitby. So that is one to watch. What can Paul Whitby do on this final lap?
Yeah, I mean he's got to really hold on to the back of Hogan. Yesterday actually, Calvin had a real problem with his brakes. He lost all brakes. There was nothing coming out of where was it? I think it was coming into Barn. He had no brakes at all, and he had to jump off it.
That's going to be scary.
Yeah, oh indeed, yeah. So I think hopefully that's not on his mind anymore. He's checked everything, done everything as best as possible. Let's hope that holds place until the end of this race at least.
I think I have to say it looks like advantage Hogan when they came past me. I think he's got the better of Whitby. Whitby didn't seem to be closing him down too much on the straight there. I think Calvin had good speed. As I say that, though, I watched him come through the gooseneck, and Paul is right on. He's going to challenge at Mansfield. Surely he's too far back. Yep, he can't quite do it there. They go into Mansfield, up towards the chicane. He's going to do it. He's running out of opportunities. He's surely going to have a look, see if he can gas that 2T engineering machine out of the chicane, get a little bit of a drive, have a look at the bottom of the mountain there.
Got them here. It is Paul Whitby. He's got the advantage now. So Paul Whitby, as you said there, ahead of Calvin Hogan as they go through the left and the right of the bottom of the mountain. Over the top, we'll pick them as they go in towards Hall Bends, and it is Paul Whitby. But Calvin Hogan's right there, and on this final lap, you reckon it might be maybe a squeeze up the inside of the hairpin? Who knows? But we'll all find out in a moment's time. But in the meantime, Kev Woolley, number 51, it's 3 wins on the weekend so far. for the number 51 of Cadwell. Next up is number 8 of David Ball, who just about holds on to second position ahead of the hard-charging Mark Haig, who closed down the gap to 0.6 of a second on that final lap. But Paul Whitby, I'll tell you what, if that finish line was about 50 metres up the road, then I think Whitby may have just slipstreamed by. But as you said there, it's Hogan who does get third in class, ahead of Whitby by a tenth of a second.
That was incredible. I wonder where he took him. I'll go and speak to him and find out what happened on that series of corners.
Alan Cooper up next. That is 5th in class and 6th overall. Of course, Mark Haig 3rd overall. He is first of the Clubmans. 166. Tom Ridley. He takes 2nd in the Clubmans, and that is 7th overall. Then it's Richard Hayward, bike number 27, and he put some distance between himself and the 85 of Andy Wales in the closing stages of that race. It was 2.1 seconds at the end between Hayward and Wales. Rounding out the top 10 and the podium in the Clubmans, it's number 6 Alan Bushell, and then it's Davies ahead of Lee by 17 1,000ths of a second as they come side by side across the line. Andy Burscoe ahead of Abby Marshall, the one and only rookie in this race. And Abby Marshall has been impressive this weekend as well, because to go from a CB 500 to a TZR 250, they're not the most similar of bikes, are they?
No, they're not. There's more power on the TZR. It's totally different ride and style. And yes, and she's a rookie. Really
Right, guys, just a little bit of news at the back of the circuit here. Just went out to congratulate Cadwell on his fantastic win and justifying his King of the Mountain title. And there's a few little spots just starting to fall. That would be on the riders' visors as well. Nothing too heavy, and starting to accumulate on the windscreens yet, because I'm literally looking at the cars around me here.